Protesters gathered outside the home of Judge Brent Shore to call for his resignation from the bench today. It all comes after the news that the judge donated to the presidential campaign of Donald Trump while serving on the board that reviews ballots in question. And tonight, the Duval County Canvassing Board is agreeing to re-examine some ballots after the former chair resigned from his role with the board. They're also now allowing media cameras in during the ballot reviews, something they began prohibiting about 2 weeks ago for the first time in county history. Our Alex Ositis has been following the board's work, and he joins us live tonight from the Supervisor of Elections office.
250 ballots that Shore helped determine voter intent on will be re-examined. Also being allowed in are cameras to record the process of the canvassing board after calls for greater transparency.
Yet, no, yes, no.
Less than 24 hours after Judge Brent Shore resigned from the canvassing board, a decision made to pull ballots and re-examine decisions. Friday's meeting chaired by two different judges, Gary Flower in the morning and early afternoon, Don Hudson wrapping up the day. Part of the rotation the board will put in place. Among other changes, cameras allowed to record the board at work. A reversal of rules that were put in place earlier this month while Shore presided. City Councilman and board member Michael Boylan says he hopes the public's trust is restored by the changes.
So I do appreciate the fact that we've made some movement in the right direction, and I think we'll do a better job next time. But I know that's not what people are worried about. They're worried about this time.
Canvassing board expected to continue their work through the weekend. Their schedule, though, still being determined. Reporting, Alex Ositis, First Coast News, on your side.